Hello everyone, welcome to class. Today we are going to start on our hands and our knees. So come onto all fours on the mat, plant your hands and your knees. Your hips should be right above your knees. You want to activate the belly button into the spine, push out of the floor from the hands so you're protracting your shoulder blades a little bit. And we're going to keep the toes untucked. So we're just going to warm up the wrists. So just sort of roll in any direction you want, circles over the wrists, really gently waking them up. You can sink in a little bit if you want, but just trying to get into all the corners of the wrist there and keep a little bit of activation while we're warming up. And switch sides. Really looking at the creases of the wrist. So you can see that you're definitely getting in there. A couple more times like this. Taking some slow, deep breaths as you do it. Now flip your grip so your wrists are facing the front, fingers are facing towards your knees. And we're just going to tuck the toes and do a gentle rock back and forth. The fronts of the palms can lift up. You don't have to keep them flat. And then just rock back forward really gently, just waking up everything. And come back forward. A couple more times. Very good. Now fingers facing towards the outside of the mat. Untuck your toes if you want, and just sort of lean each side over towards the fingers, warming everything up, and then just do some circles, clockwise and counterclockwise, keeping the core engaged the whole time, just to wake everything up. Very good. All right, now we're going to do some cat-cows and to some variations. So, using your own speed, your own breath, we're going to inhale, drop the belly down, head reaches toward the back of the tailbone. Exhale, push away, push the floor away, tuck the tailbone to the nose. Good, and go at your own pace here. Inhale, belly drops down. Magnetize the back of the head to the tailbone. Exhale, tuck the tailbone first, push away with the hands. Nose magnetizes towards the pelvis. A couple more times at your own pace. Inhale. Exhale. Now, on the next cow pose, tuck your toes under. And when you exhale, you're going to compress up, bring the knees up just a couple centimeters above the ground. Exact same time in the exact same way. Feel the core turning on here. Good, repeat again. Inhale, drop the knees. Drop the belly. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, push, 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 push. Knees come slowly off the ground. Feel the core fire up. Couple more times. Inhale. Exhale. Curl, compress. Round the spine, round the spine. Inhale. Arch the back. Exhale. Compress, 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 compress. Knees come off the ground. And on this next inhale, butt comes back to the heels. Exhale, come forward. So we're going to be doing these spinal waves with this cat-cow compression. Inhale, push back. Exhale, compress forward and bring the knees up. And come back and try that again. And come forward, forward, forward. Knees come up. Good. Drop the knees down, but back to the heels. Push up to downward dog here. Very good. And stay in this downward dog. Take some deep breaths here. Walk it out a little bit. Push the hands through the ground. So your shoulders come out of the sockets a little bit, or the arm bone comes out of the socket. Wrap your triceps in towards each other. And now, focusing on the feet, bend the knees a little bit. activate all corners of the feet. So the base of your big toe, the base of your pinky toe, and the back of your heel. Bend your knees, tilt your tailbone towards the sky, belly button into the spine, neck looking long, or you can look towards the belly button. Good, now we're going to do some more spinal waves. So bring the feet together, toes together. Lift up on the inhale, straighten your legs like you're sucking the ground up through a straw and your legs are the straws. Activate the pelvic floor, tuck the tailbone in towards the belly button. We're going really slow here. And now keep moving forward. Belly button goes towards the bottom of the rib cage. Now rib cage activates towards the heart. Keep going, keep going. Heart pushes towards the throat, tucking the chin in. And now you're all the way up in this high plank here. Squeeze the butt, activate the legs. Stay in this very compressed plank. Now on your exhale, bend the knees. Tailbone tucks back towards the sky. Your belly drops, your rib cage drops, your heart drops, and your head is the last thing to drop, so you're looking forward. We'll do that again a little bit faster. Inhale up onto the toes. Curl the tailbone to the belly button to the rib cage to the heart, heart to the throat, and you tuck your chin in. Exhale, bend the knees, tailbone tucks to the sky, drop the belly, drop the heart, drop the neck, look forward. I'll stop talking so much and we can do some just with the breath, okay? So inhale, wave forward. Exhale, back. Inhale, wave forward. Exhale, come back. Good. Now, on the next inhale, come forward. And we're going to drop the hips down. Stay with your arms pressing out. Pressing, but the hips drop into upward facing dog. So you're still pushing out. Push the weight into the index fingers and the thumbs. Wrapping the arms in. You can do like a micro bend, so your shoulder blades are trying to kiss each other. And now on the exhale, we're going to push up. So the core activates and you push back into a downward facing dog. Good, we're going to do that again. Inhale, up onto the toes, straight legs. Wave the spine forward. Exhale, drop the hips. Keep the arms activated. Drop. Micro bend the arms. Push the floor away and keep your neck straight. You don't have to look up to the sky. Stay here. Now we're going to drop the hips further. So bend the arms a little bit. Your triceps are wrapping in towards your rib cage. Drop slowly. Pelvis comes to the ground. Cobra pose. Untuck your toes. Now lower down a little bit just to give your neck a little break. Now, big toes magnetize towards each other. Inhale, breathe your heart up. Clasp your hands right at your butt so your head can come down for a second. Activate the shoulder blades towards each other. Lift those palms up off your butt. Keep your arms micro bent. Inhale, lift up with the breath. And exhale, you kind of come down a little bit. Inhale, lift up from the back of the spine. Exhale, come down. Rest your forehead down, take a deep breath. Just stretching the arms here. On our next inhale, we'll come up again. Inhale, lift up the face and lift your toes. Lift your toes. Lengthen from your legs and the crown of your head forward. Now hands back down to the floor, right beside your rib cage. Tuck the toes. Back up to upward facing dog and push back into downward facing dog. This spine is getting very juicy and warm. Okay, inhale, look forward, lift up the toes. Spinal wave forward, upward facing dog. On our next inhale, stay in the upward facing dog. Exhale, just point your left toe straight, pushing up, pushing the floor away. Shoulder blades into the kissing towards each other, triceps towards your rib cage. Put that toe down. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, right toe points. Stay here, pop that toe down, back up to downward facing dog. Walk your dog out a little bit. Spine should be feeling nice and warm. Now we're gonna stay here in downward dog. We're gonna lower our forearms to the floor into a dolphin pose. Lower into dolphin pose. We're almost done on the arms here. So you can stay like this because dolphin pose is challenging enough on its own. You can bend your knees a little bit, and then when you straighten, come back up into the pose. You can just sort of give yourself a little bit of a break like that. It's not much of a break, but it kind of helps. Gaze your eyes towards your fingers and just take some deep breaths here. Wrapping the triceps in, biceps are active, and your hands are flat on the floor. Forearms pushing so hard into the floor that it brings your bones, your arm bones, out of the shoulder sockets. Stay here. Lift the left leg up if you want. Keep the hips square, meaning if you were to have your toes flexed, you could see your pinky toe facing the floor. And come down. Bend the knees. Straighten the knees. Other side. Inhale, lift that right leg up. Keep your hips square. Look at your right pinky toe facing the ground to help you. Good. And bring that leg down. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bring the knees down. Sit back on the heels. Hands in the lap. And just take some quiet, calming breaths. Gently blink your eyes open. Feel yourself rooted here, grounded, and all very warm, hopefully. Slide your hands forward on the mat, coming up to downward dog at your own pace. On the next inhale, our two big toes are kissing, they're touching each other. We're gonna inhale, the right leg's gonna come up with a square hip. Inhale. Exhale, knee bends into nose. Touching the nose if you can. Now, gently bring the right knee to the left elbow. We're still in this compressed position. So you're pushing your shoulders out of, away from the floor. And now we're gonna do a couple abs here. So drop the knee down to the wrist. Inhale, exhale, come back up. Inhale, exhale, contract. Inhale down to the wrist, exhale, knee to armpit. Two more. Inhale down to wrist, exhale, up to armpit. Inhale down to wrist, exhale to armpit. Now stretch that right leg out through to the left side of your mat. We're in triangle pose. So swivel that left foot so your knife edge of the left foot faces is in line with the back of the mat. Stretch the left arm up to the sky and just breathe. You can bring your hand behind your head if that feels nicer. Deep breaths here. You can also bring your left arm over your ear, whatever feels nice. Now, left arm down to the ground. And from here, micro bend both of your knees so you feel your butt is sort of buoyant towards the sky. Now wiggle this right foot slowly down on the floor so your hips are coming down to the floor. You're in this really juicy stretch here. You can keep the arms where they are planted in front of you, or you can drop the elbows down. It's a little bit less intense, but it still feels really nice. So whichever you prefer, you can try both. Deep breaths here. Now that left toe is still tucked under. And from here, inhale, lengthen your spine, push your hands into the ground so you come back up, activate the core. Now, lift that right leg up. You're squeezing your core so hard that your right leg comes off the ground into the nose. Swivel over into a wild thing. Right leg comes onto the ground, right hand behind the head, or stretching back, whichever feels better. Can micro bend both knees so you can feel that you're grounded, and then push the hips up to the sky. Now activate the core, come onto that left hand into a side plank, but your knee is going to come up into your right hand. Just have a nice little stretch here. If you're shaking, that's great. Now bring the right knee forward, holding it, up into a lunge, drop it down. Very good. Stay in this lunge, drop the back knee. You can take that right foot and wiggle it out so you're in a low lizard lunge, and just breathe here. You can untuck that back toe as well. You can also rock around, or you can stay still. I'm going to take my right hand and push it on my right knee and be on the knife edge of my right foot and just twist my spine towards the sky. From here, lift that right arm up. Bend the back knee so you can grab your left foot in your right hand. You can just stay here like this, or if you want to do a little bit more of an active variation, you are pushing the back toes so they're actively flexing into your right hand. Your right palm is pushing into those toes so much that you're able to twist, internally rotate your shoulder in, activating those toes into your palm, and you can get a deeper stretch. From there, you can push your butt back so you're almost like lifting your butt into your heel, inhaling here, and then exhale, sink down slowly here. Keep that activation. Release that grip, come back into your lizard pose. Plant the hands, coming back up to a lunge. Wiggle the foot back to the center so you have both hands on either side. Come up back into a lunge. Push the floor away so you've activated everything. Your core is curled. You're pushing the hands away so hard that your foot can just slide off and knee comes to nose. Back to downward facing dog. Few deep breaths here. All right, next side. Big toes come together on the mat. Inhale, lift that left leg up, square hips. Come up onto your right toes. Bend that left knee, curl it to your knee to your nose. Hold it here for a bit. One breath. Now twist that left knee to the right elbow. We're going to do those abs. So drop that left knee to the wrist. Inhale, exhale. Compress up. 4 more. Inhale, left wrist. Exhale, compress up. Inhale, wrist. Exhale, right armpit. Inhale, wrist. Exhale, armpit. Inhale, wrist. Exhale, armpit. Stretch that left foot now. Fall in triangle. Twist the hips to the sky. Knife edge of your right foot in line with the back of the mat. Right arm can stretch up to the sky. You can stretch your arm over your head or rest your skull in your hands. Just chill here for a sec. Micro bend your knees if you ever feel like you're stuck, so you feel that buoyancy, and then grow up from the hips. Stretch that right hand over your head. Come back down, bring the hand to the mat. Now wiggle your foot down into that hip stretch. You can stay here, or you can bring the elbows down. And a couple deep breaths here. Always the option to keep the arms straight for this. Now inhale, straighten the spine. Activate your core. Push the hands into the ground so you drag your left foot in. Your core is activated so much that you can lift your left foot off the ground. Tuck it into your nose. Swivel it over your hip to the other side. Wild thing. Left hand can reach out or supporting your skull. Remember, bend if you're feeling not buoyant and push everything out. You never want to lock here. Now, gather your core, come into a side plank. You're dragging that left foot up. Your left knee comes into your left hand. You're in a side plank here. Now, gathering that core, keeping your gaze forward. Keep that knee tucking in, into a lunge. Drop it down. Very good. Now, wiggle that left foot out wide on your mat. Drop that back knee down if you haven't already. We're in a lizard lunge pose. Move around here, whatever feels good. I'm going to come onto the knife edge of my left foot. Toes are active and spread apart. Left knee pushes into the left hand pushes into the left knee, so your spine twists towards the sky. And just stay here for a bit. Now, if you want more, left arm comes up to the sky, right knee bends. Left foot into right hand, toes are actively pushing against that hand, and your right knee is pushing it against it. So there's lots of resistance from both sides. Keep your toes engaged and twist your hands, so you're internally rotating your shoulder, so your fingers can come cup over the top of your foot, and you're bringing your heel into your butt for a deeper stretch. Keep that activation. You can also lift the butt up a bit, so your butt goes into your right heel on the inhale, then exhale, drop it all down. You never want to sink fully. You always want to keep that buoyant butt feeling of your butt cheek going into that right heel. Release the grip, come into lizard lunge. Move around here as much as you want. Now, inhale, plant both of the hands. Wiggle that left foot into the middle of the mat. So the left hand's gonna come on the outside. So it's in the middle. Come up to a high lunge. You're magnetizing your left foot and your right foot towards each other. So that kind of brings your butt up too. Then you push the floor away with your hands. So you're protracting your shoulder blades. Core is engaged so much so that you lift that foot up. Knee comes into nose. Downward facing dog. And drop the knees. Sit on the heels. And take some deep breaths here. See if you can just drop everything we just did and just focus on your breath. and the sensations in your body. No storylines or commentary necessary. Blink your eyes open. Slide your hands forward. My mat is very sandy and slippery. And come up to a downward dog, but we're gonna shorten that pose a bit. So bring the feet in, so you're in like a small downward dog. You wanna make sure that your hands are not too wide on the mat, like that they should really be in line with your shoulders. And really push out. When I say like push the floor away, like really push on the ground and see what happens. That's the activation you want to feel. Make sure all the bases of the fingers, so the bases of the knuckles, are suctioned into the ground. So you can even bend your fingers and feel that those bases are suctioned in. We're just going to do some frog jump, So keep your gaze sort of just ahead of where your fingers are. Come up onto the toes, and all you're going to do is bend and jump. Bend, jump, just frog jumps. I'm going to do like a few here. So inhale. You just want to activate the legs. It's not about getting any air time. It's just getting the legs. A couple more. Keep going. Two more. Good. Come to sitting back on your heels and drop it just like we did before. Feel your heart beating. Just notice it. Blink the eyes open. Slide the hands forward, back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Hips square. Up onto the left toes. Tuck the knee into the nose. Come forward into a lunge. So place that right foot right between your hands. Now, gently lift the hands up to the sky, magnetizing the right foot into the left foot. So they're squeezing the mat together. This is giving you that buoyancy. Stay here for a couple breaths. Bring the hands behind the head. You can do a little arch if you want, or you can just enjoy this feeling. Now with those feet magnetizing towards each other, stretch the right leg towards straight. Feel that activation. Hips are square. You're not sinking in either hip. Now gently from the hips, hinge forward, slowly until you have to put your hands down. And then we're in a modified pyramid pose. The back heel is lifted here, but keep that micro bend. So that micro bend should allow you to straighten your hips easier. And you don't ever have to lock your legs straight. You really shouldn't. So just keep it micro bent and work towards straight once you've got that hip alignment. So you can squiggle them around easier when you have that little bend. And keep stretching down. So nose should be heading towards the knee. On an inhale, flat back. Exhale, stretch down. Inhale, flat back. And use the same spinal motion we did at the beginning of class. Exhale, reverse. Come down. Inhale, flat back, bend both knees so the left knee drops to the ground, but you're in like a smaller type of lunge, so your knees are kind of both at 90. So you're in this lunge here, and what you're going to do is swivel the left leg to the right side of your mat. So you keep your knee rooted in the ground, lift that left leg up and swivel it off the back right side of your mat. You can make a little more space. I need a little more space here. Bring the right hand inside the right foot. Push your tricep into your inner thigh so that keeps everything sort of tucked, and scoop your glute sort of inside its socket, or your femur bone into its socket, and stretch that left arm up to the sky. You can bring your arm over your ear if that feels nicer. And just do some big swings here of the arm. So the arm just comes in front of your face, and then just keeps big sweeping circles just to get those shoulders nice and mobile and warm. You can stop at any time and just stay in the static pose. Now bring that left arm down so both of your hands are on the inside of your right foot. Now, that buoyant butt feeling, stick your butt behind you. So you don't want to be sinking. You want it to be pushing back. You should feel everything sort of suction into your hips like that. Bend your arms as much as you can. Keep your elbows tucked in towards each other. Swoop the right hand under the leg and to the outside of your right foot. Now, you can stay here because this can be very intense just as it is, or you can come up onto the left toe, and that is not by just lifting it up. It's pushing your right tricep so far up into the back of your inner thigh and knee that it lifts up by itself, and you lift your left arm up to the sky, and you can also lift it over your ear. It's big, intense stretch here. From here, you can stay here, or you can relax, or you can keep that activation so strong, pushing out of the floor, right tricep into right inner thigh into right tricep, that the right foot comes off the ground. You can grab the edge of your right foot with your left hand, vacuuming your humerus into the shoulder socket, and then you can just work it towards straight. Now you can just stay here, or you can just slowly work it towards straight. Big deep breaths. Keep that humerus suctioned into the shoulder blade and come out. Unwrap that right arm from outside of the leg. Come back into a little mini lunge here with the back knee on the ground. Come up to a lunge. Right knee into right nose, the only nose you have, and into downward dog. Okay, a couple breaths here. All right, left side. Inhale, lift that left leg up. Come up onto the right toes. Bend that left knee into your nose. Keep compressing and pushing away from the floor, and bring that left knee in between your hands. Coming up to a high lunge. Arms come up. Magnetizing both feet towards each other so you could scrunch the mat just with your feet, which should lift you up out of your pelvis, and then you sink down with the exhale. You can bring the hands behind the head. You can arch back a little bit, or just stay and keep that engagement. Now, with that micro bend and the magnetization of both the feet towards each other, straighten that left leg very slowly, keeping the hips stable. Keep that micro bend. Inhale. We're going to hinge from our pelvis. Keep the spine straight. looking forward on your mat, straight down until you bring your hands to the ground for a modified pyramid pose. Back heel lifted. Keep those legs bent so you can get your hips straight. Once you've found a comfortable spot, knee relaxes towards, or nose relaxes towards the knee, folding forward. Inhale, flat back, spinal wave. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold down. Now on the next inhale, flatten that back, bend the knees so your right knee drops, but you're in a smaller low lunge, sort of at 90 degrees with both legs. We're going to sweep or swivel that right foot off to the left side of the long edge of your mat. Bring that left hand inside the left foot. Stretch that right hand up towards the sky. Keep that butt feeling very buoyant. Swoop or scoop in your left butt cheek into the socket. You can stretch that right arm over your ear. Good, and now just do those big circles we did before. Circling forward in front of your face and coming to the back. Big deep breaths with the movement until you come back over your ear. Now, bring the arms down. Keep that engagement so butt is buoyant towards the sky. Bend both arms. Both hands are inside your left foot. Now, swoop your left shoulder behind your calf, and your left hand comes on the outside of your left foot. Now, that tricep is going to push into your calf and the backside of your knee so much. So you feel an activation there so much that your heel comes off the ground, and you stretch again, right arm to the sky. Now you can stay here because it's very intense, or you keep that activation pushing so much that your left foot comes off the ground. You reach your right arm over your ear, grab the outside of your left foot, vacuum the arm bone into the socket, and stretch your arm and your leg towards straight. Deep breaths here. Come out as soon as it gets too intense. Very good. Unswivel that arm, you've come out. Now come back up to a high lunge, so arms come on either side of the foot, swivel the left foot into the center of the mat, and push so hard that your knee comes into your nose, and you're coming back up into downward facing dog. Drop your knees, sit on your heels, and just take that in. Drop it, and just breathe. Blink your eyes open slowly. We're going to come onto our backs now. So however you want to get there, come on into your back, onto your back, and bring the knees in up to a baby pose. So peace fingers can go in between your big toe and your second toe. Knees come out to the side, magnetize your sacrum into the ground. This is an option for one grip. Another grip is you keep your elbows where they are, pressing into the insides of your knees, and the hands come to the outside of your feet, so you kind of get an extra push. Keeps everything sort of in line, and that sacrum stays magnetizing into the ground. You can rock around here. or you can just stay still. Now keep your hands and feet, keep that activation, and just bring your feet together. And slide your hands sort of to your ankles and just let that open up your hips in whatever way feels good for you. Bring the feet back in, knees back in. Tuck yourself into a little tiny ball. Take some really big deep breaths here. Squeeze as much as you can. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale, exhale in this position. And once you've tucked as far as you can go on the inhale, exhale. Open up to Shavasana. Stay here as long as you want. Let yourself just be a big, juicy puddle on the floor.